Hi, you've started questioning your relationship with alcohol, and I get it. You can't unsee it now. And you're also a little nervous about being here because you're admitting something, and that's hard to do. But I do want to celebrate you for being here and for choosing you. That is the first bravest step in this journey, is making that decision. And here's the thing. From the outside, we look like we had everything together. You're busy. You're showing up. You're doing everything that you're supposed to be doing. So how in the world would you have a drinking problem? But the crazy thing here is this isn't you. It is the alcohol. I like to say that this isn't an alcohol problem. This is a life problem. This is a we have lost connection with ourself problem. And we can get you back to yourself and stop this control that alcohol has, the loop that you're stuck in, the drinking cycle. The drinking cycle that is actually designed to keep you stuck. I'm Cassie Purpura, and for most of my life, over 30 years, I drank. I started drinking at 14. So it's all I knew. My identity truly was around alcohol. I did not know how to function without alcohol. My mind and body also did not know how to function without alcohol. I thought made life fun. It's what gave me confidence. It's what made me more social. So I thought. And over time, I began to realize something. I began to realize that alcohol wasn't doing any of that. It was actually disconnecting me from not just myself, but from my entire life. And now I am going to walk you through in this video how I did it, of how I broke the cycle and reconnected with myself and am living a life that I never imagined was possible. And this is what I want for you too. Phase 1, we calm the chaos, we end that alcohol loop, and we bring you back to yourself. So this is where you learn to rebuild your life with clarity, structure, and balance. And we do that in bringing awareness to the reasons you drink. What was the foundation? What was the triggers? And we dissect those together to bring balance and understanding. Once we have that understanding, then we can move forward and make this something that you live. So this was one of my many moments, and I didn't even question it. I realized this was a loop. I was stuck in this drinking cycle, the loop, and I created a habit. So my husband and I would be sitting at home, a beautiful evening, hanging out, watching TV. We would be having a glass of wine. He would have one. I would have many. I would be going back to the refrigerator multiple times to refill my glass. I would hit the end of the bottle. So I had a decision to make. And what did I do? I pushed that bottle to the back of the refrigerator and quietly opened another and would refill my glass, to the point that on numerous occasions I would be forcing one more glass, knowing we were about to go to bed. The next morning was brutal. This was the cycle that I would get stuck in, because every morning I would wake up just filled with regret, heartache. What did I say? What did I do? Sometimes I would drink so much that I would black out, and it sucked. And I stayed in that cycle for so long, just living that over and over again. And then many times during the day, I would tell myself, oh, I'm not going to drink. I'm over it. Whatever. I'm sure you know. And then by the evening, I would be drinking. I would wait till 5 o'clock and then I deserve a glass. And then that one glass was into another and another and another. And I would live that whole cycle over again. And it was fucking exhausting. Then I hit that point, knowing that I had to stop, knowing that I had to figure something out. And I thought, I'm a strong woman. I can do this. And I tried the willpower approach and discipline and talking to myself and giving myself rules. But the thing is this isn't about willpower. This is so much more than that. it's not an alcohol problem. It's a life problem. It's a life out of alignment. It's a disconnection from ourself. So it doesn't matter how much willpower or discipline that you put onto yourself. That's not going to fix it, and it will actually drive you insane. Phase 2, the regulation and the rebuilding of the system. So this is where things start to really change and where structure starts to actually unfold. We start building a support system, a toolbox together based on what you enjoy, based on your life and how you do things, what affects you, how things affect you, how does stress affect you, what lights you up. This is a private coaching experience. So this is a one-on-one personal touch where I get to know you and understand how this work is going to affect you. So by helping you build that toolbox and that system to navigate stress, we start to make it simple and understandable for you, and you can see a path forward. This is the process that I learned when I realized that there is nothing that I found to replace it. So during this time, I'm struggling, I'm trying willpower and the discipline and the negotiating with myself, and I'm realizing that I didn't build that structure to understand what was going to get me to move forward without the alcohol, because you've created a habit. So because you've created a habit, you have to restructure that process for yourself. Because alcohol became your go-to to relax, to take the stress off. So now we have to figure out what replaces that. What gives you the peace better than the alcohol? Because at the end of the day, we realize that alcohol doesn't do what we think it does. And honestly, you don't realize what it's costing you. Phase 3, the reclamation. This is where you start becoming the woman who doesn't need it. And man, I will tell you, that becomes very empowering, and it gives you a strength that you can start pulling from, because this is when everything shifts. This is when you start taking your life back each step, and you start living differently, because we calmed the chaos. We built the structure together, and now you're going to implement it and start taking that forward momentum. This is where we prepare for those moments, the cravings, the social situations, to where the other two phases have built the structure, and now you implement and you start living differently. Because together we created a plan. So now you know what to do, and you have comfort in that feeling. You want to know the biggest thing that changed for me is when I stopped thinking about alcohol. Imagine that. Imagine a life where it's not consuming your every moment. It's not consuming your thoughts. You're not negotiating with it every day. You're living your life and you're loving your life. This is where you start actually dreaming again. This is where you start imagining so much more for yourself. And then that's where you start really seeing the freedom to live, the freedom to love harder, love more, love your life, love your partner, love your children. And you have the freedom from the guilt and being stuck in that cycle and being so exhausted. And then finally, you start hearing that inner voice. You start hearing that intuition again that we lost in that process. And once you start hearing that inner voice, you can start feeling self-trust again. And that is the most beautiful thing in the world. And it is something that propelled me forward so much, because we lose that. That is the real freedom. You become stronger in the moments that used to break you. I know I keep saying the word empowerment, but it is. This entire journey is a growing process of empowerment and strength and courage because you have to dig deep. I say this is like a fight for your life, because that's what I said it was for me. I had to fight for my life to reconnect with myself, to break this 30-year habit. And in doing so, it empowers you to the point that you can see so much bigger. You can see so much more for your life. That is how you start to rebuild more and more self-trust every single time you take that step forward. And like I've said, this system was built on breaking a 30-year pattern. My 30-year pattern. You can see my before and after pictures here. You can see me completely disconnected. All I knew was alcohol. For most of my life, alcohol was entwined in everything. And then on top of the fact that I owned a catering company, I worked in hospitality where drinking was just normal. It was part of the culture. It was actually weird if you didn't. And so by living this journey, by me living this journey, I can now teach you what I did and take all of my ups and downs and years of struggle and make this easier for you and guide you through it. I work closely with a small number of women because this work requires it. This is, again, one-on-one private coaching, and I take that very seriously, and I work one-on-one with each person to get to know you and how I can design a system that works for you. So it's important that you're ready to commit, that you're ready to put in the work, because that's the only way that you will move forward in this journey. And that is the only way that it will start to become easy for you. And this is what starts to shift. You start seeing the changes. You start having the breakthroughs. Look at these amazing testimonials from my clients, having that huge pivot from one year to the next. This is huge. This is life-changing work. So again, this is the Alcohol-Free Reclamation Method, a 12-week private coaching experience where we calm the chaos, create regulation, and rebuild your life, and then you reclaim it. Reclaim it, reconnect with yourself, and learn how to live differently. It's amazing, it's beautiful, and I promise you, do the work, and it is a life that you never imagined you could have, because I'm living proof of it. And this is a life that I never imagined. 30 years of drinking, and now I don't even think about it. This is the path to true freedom. So take the first step back to you and scroll down after this video and schedule your clarity call. This is where on this call, we will look at where you are right now, what's been keeping you stuck, and whether the alcohol-free reclamation method is the right fit for you. This is truly life-changing, and it's a beautiful experience, and I really hope that I will be talking to you soon.